Hey, Leila.
Hey, how are you?
Doing well. So I'm catching up on putting all of our meetings onto our YouTube. And so I'm not putting board meetings unless you want me to.
No.
No, okay. That's what I figured. And also I put Eric Jenkins, his presentation, that's unlisted. So whenever,
Gotcha.
yeah, so whenever, I don't know if Delane's still doing those weekly emails or
Um,
emails.
I don't know if she'll start doing them again. I know she stopped because like there wasn't a lot to put on them. But if we want to, I guess we could start back if we started like collecting more information. Maybe instead of I know because we started it for a while when we had those like introductory meetings, but if we did like a meet a member kind of email, we could just do like one kind of like favorite type of things, and it's kind of like a survey format.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, I was just, thinking we can throw in the YouTube URL for his presentation the next
Yeah.
time she does it.
Yeah.
It might be something we can do like a monthly, I don't want to use the word newsletter because that brings up a whole different can of worms, but
Right.
something that off week where we don't have anything.
Yeah, that's when it comes out. Yeah,
Mhm.
that would be
Agreed.
cool.
Hello, beautiful people.
Hello.
Hey, Wes.
Okay, before, well, we're being recorded. I can't tell you my secret. So
Oh.
can't do it. So
Shucks.
Just because I haven't seen you lovely people in a hot minute, I went and found our Polish Rotary Club friends on Facebook and looked at all the pictures from their little duck race. It was
Mhm.
stinking adorable.
Well, Liz, do you remember when they used to have one here?
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time, but yeah, I remember like everyone getting so excited about it though.
about what?
A duck race. We used to have a duck race here in Texarkana.
I don't even
Um,
remember who sponsored it.
Me neither. It was one of the nonprofits. I can't remember which one though. But yeah, they used to have one and it was a big deal. And you got like different size ducks based on like, you got like a multitude of ducks. I don't know, I was still in high school when they were doing it. So I didn't really pay that much attention because I had no money.
Okay. Well, we don't have a river or a good stream or anything that would work here in Tyler. So I don't know how we would do that. Texarkana must have something. Of
I
course,
don't
it-
remember where they used to do it.
That's what I was just trying to remember. I mean, unless it was in like one of the ponds at the park or something,
No idea.
because nobody
like-
would go anywhere near the Red River.
To ask someone more experienced than me. I don't like to say older because I fit in the old
Ask Andy, she'll know.
Right.
Oh, yeah, she would definitely know.
Andy knows everything that happens in that town.
Fact.
She does.
She was probably in charge of it at some point or another.
He
Right.
probably started it, let's be real. I literally have no idea what y'all talking about. I just heard events in Texarkana and I know Andy was involved.
You were 100% relevant with your comments.
Yeah.
And I was 100% confident that was the case.
Oh man.
How's everybody today?
Good. How about you?
Oh, I'm fine. Just another work day. Just wake up, and go to work, go to bed. I mean,
It's like it's a Tuesday that felt like a Monday.
Mhm.
It's like,
It's
oh yeah, I've
hot.
got Rotary tonight because it's
Yeah.
Tuesday.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. It all runs together. Just the summer. It's hot.
How was the Rotary New Year's Eve? I missed it because I was driving out to Mineola.
It was small but fun.
How was Mineola?
Oh, it was awesome. I love going back because when I lived there, I didn't need a bar, but now when I go back, there's bars in town.
Really? Where? I know there's one off the square it's like a cigar and they have really good selection of
that we went
whiskey.
to that one. That's
Really?
RNA Tavern,
Yeah.
and they have
Right.
they make great old fashions. So we all
Mhm.
had old fashions. And then there's another one called The Line, and it's like I don't know how to describe it. A
Where is
cowboy
it?
bar, like it's all wood inside, and they've got a stage, and there's always a guy with a guitar up there. And they really only have 3 beer choices.
Bud Light Lime.
Yeah.
Miller Lite. That's
Yeah.
where is it in Mineola? I don't know this one.
That one's just across from the train tracks
W-
in the
w-
same like area, like just across from that other little bar.
By the gazebo.
One street over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was nice. We did fireworks and had a pool day. Did you guys do anything fun?
I went to my friend's pool and we hang out there all day. And I went to a reproduction rights rally that morning. So that was interesting to have in Texarkana.
Nice. Oh, how was
I'm
Yeah.
shocked.
Right? It was good. There were about 50 people there, which I mean is saying something for Texarkana. But it was good. And I was there for like an hour or so before I needed to go and get ready for the rest of the day. But just as I was leaving, they started like marching downtown. So
I'm impressed.
yeah.
Well, there was, I was impressed with some genuine courage in that regard in Tyler, on the square in Tyler, if you've been there, the square, a group of pro-choice. I don't want to be controversial, pro-choice opposed to Roe versus Wade. About 30 of them met on the square and then went off west, and they walked past 3 of the evangelical churches that are on the square, right off the square, came back and in Tyler, boy, okay, courage. I was impressed. So I was glad to see it.
Yeah. That's what they had one last Sunday. And so, I mean, it kind of made more sense. I went on a Sunday and they were there like when, the church like let out and they could do their whole thing then, but there's kind of a gamble to do it on a holiday. There wasn't much traffic. So I think it was either going to be like one way or the other, but it was cool. A bunch of people like speaking. It wasn't like super organized or anything though. So it was kind of like the downfall to any kind of rally, really.
Yeah.
It's not organized.
Yeah.
Well, you should have taken charge. You're a trained Rotarian.
You left early.
I did. I had to. I was like, I can't take all the credit here.
What kind of leadership was that? Okay. No wonder it fell apart.
I run through downtown Houston, and every day there's always this group of people protesting something. Think of anything, and they're protesting it. It can be the most rudimentary issue, and they're out there hooping and hollering. Sometimes it's
Is
good
that
for them.
near-
It's great.
Is that like near the courthouse?
City Hall, courthouse is
Yeah.
on the other side, but sometimes I don't go that far. But it's always in front of City Hall. It's always something.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, the homeowners dues, I think was one time. I mean, just ridiculous things.
All right, well, here's what you're going to do. You've got the summer off. This is your opportunity to shine, okay? It'll be a resume busting event. You get your big old sign, protesting against protesters, okay? Down with protesters. You go out there. I've had enough of the protesters. I'm against it.
That's a little, what would you call that? Oxymoron, I guess, maybe?
Yeah.
The last, you got the last part right. The last
It's the irony.
The
The last
Kafka
syllable.
irony, yeah, that's what it is. So Kafka irony, I guess. But
I follow this great couple on TikTok. They're like the lawyers of TikTok, and they explain all the situations as lawyers, or I believe they're both lawyers now, or one of them might still be in school, but they shared a story about what they did on the 4th, and the husband protested not doing fireworks because it was against the law where they live. So the wife was like, we did some fireworks, but my husband sat inside because because it's against the law, and he refused to take a part. You know who I'm talking about? Does anybody else watch these lawyers?
I don't think so.
They're great. The next time I see them do a good video on something, I'll send it to our board group chat.
you know, I see enough of that day to day. I don't want to have it every time.
Clayton's like, please, no more.
I'm sure Wes agrees. I
They
mean,
explain everything. Like whatever issues are going on during like within the week or the month, like they'll cover it and they'll talk about the legality of it.
mhm.
Or if something will hold up in court.
Well, see if you can pull one up, a good one. They're not.
Did they offer running commentary on the Johnny Depp Amber Heard
Yeah,
trial?
did.
Because that would have been where I probably would have found them. And
they did do a lot of commentary on that case. That's actually one of other than Law and Order, I've never really watched live court cases. And it was such a cool live court case to watch because there was so much drama involved. Even with them entering and exiting the building.
Oh yeah, it was basically like watching a soap opera. Like,
Yeah. And I would just put it on during the day. This is where my desk is. My TV's in the corner there. I'd just put it on YouTube live.
You know,
I've
if you're
never done that before.
if you're interested in that, most counties now, at least in major cities, I know Harris County is, that you can live stream current trials that are going on right now. And so it's free to the public if you're interested in doing that at any time. I mean, you'll
Yeah,
just
I might do that.
what the court looks like. Some of it, I was watching a family custody battle last week or two. I mean, there's some juicy stuff in it, but
Yeah.
there's capital murder, contractual disputes, major companies, very fascinating stuff.
There's another girl that's a lawyer on TikTok that she reads iconic court transcripts, and it's just really funny court transcripts. You know, like the judge's response, what people actually say in court. That's just, you wouldn't believe how dumb people can be. Oh my God, they're so funny.
I feel like you missed your calling, Sarah. When are you going to law school?
Yeah.
Well, Dad always wanted me to be a lawyer. He said I was a great arguer.
That's what
Never-
mine always said too.
But hey, I followed in my parents' footsteps. Dad did ask me to take over the Dairy Queen a few years ago while my brother was still in the military, and I said no. I didn't want to move back to Mineola, but if I had, I might have quite a good amount of money in my pocket.
Hey, small town Texas Dairy Queens, they're hopping.
But not regretting it. Like after seeing what my brother had to go through during COVID, and just on a daily basis when you're hiring part-time work in a small town, you know?
Ugh,
Yeah.
I can't even imagine.
He's closed on Sundays right now. My parents would never close on a Sunday because that's like one of the biggest days of the week. He's
and
closed because he can't find people to work. People want to take off on weekends and they don't want to work on Sundays.
Mhm. And somewhere like Mineola, Van's the same way. Every restaurant is closed on Sunday night except for Dairy Queen or
Mm-hmm.
other fast food restaurants. Growing up, we only had the Dairy Queen, but you know,
Yeah.
Mineola's the same way. So
Yep.
that's a loss of profit.
What you having for dinner tonight, Wes?
It's too good. It's just too good. I'm batching it because my wife and daughter are in the UK for the summer. And so step number one, take 3 potatoes. Step number 2, scrub the little things that grow on the outside of them because they've been in too long. Scrub those off. Step 3, shove them in the microwave, punch 7 minutes, punch go, voila, dinner. I gotta, hang on, let's see. To spice it off, I found in the back of the cabinet, I found a can of refried beans, organic.
Nice.
Heated up another 45 seconds. Dinner for a king. I've got enough carbohydrates to run a marathon. So
You're a pescatarian, right, Wes?
oh, perhaps about 9 years ago, something like 8 or 9 years ago. I used to eat everything. And I read an article in Runner's World that vegetarians could run marathons and it didn't affect them. I thought, okay, I'll try as an experiment just to see if I can go vegetarian and if it affects my performance. It had no effect whatsoever. And then I just sort of got into it just to be sort of contrarian, be vegetarian. And then I learned more about the harm to the environment and ethical issues and all kinds of things. And I thought, okay, it's my little contribution. I can be vegetarian. It costs me nothing. My expenses go down. So I just don't eat meat. In a crunch, I can do so. But I try to steer towards vegetarian, vegan if I can get away with it. But I don't make it a cause célèbre. And it's just kind of what I do.
Is your family also vegetarian? Do you make vegetarian dishes or just you?
My wife will eat mostly vegetarian. She'll eat some meat, but given her choice, she will eat vegetarian. But it's mainly just for health.
Mm-hmm. Sure,
Learned something new about Wes today.
So I mean, I've run. It had no effect whatever on physical training. I've run more than 60 marathons. I haven't ran 2 last year. Run 9 Boston marathons. So I can do it. But if you're trying to, everybody has an ideal body weight, and strangely enough, this will make some of you angry and want to cut me off this video. But my body weight pegs at about 138 pounds. Okay, 138 pounds. That's all I need. So I'm within a pound or 2 of that all the time. And so if you can get to your ideal, whatever your body is designed for, get to that and stay with that. Vegetarian will help you get there. And water, this is soy milk, so good stuff. And I got a bunch of bananas here, so that was my trip to the Sprouts this weekend. So
my problem
I don't drink
is
enough water, and I know that's part of my problem. I just don't. I sit at my desk all day and I don't get up.
You have to drink a lot of water. Well, water makes you hungry, so it makes it. When you're hungry, it lessens your hunger. So if you're drinking more water, you're less hungry. It makes you more full, and it's better for you, and you don't eat as much.
I find it really difficult to keep vegetables without them going bad because I'm the only one that eats. Like, I love making really good salads, a Greek salad. I made a really nice, I guess you would call it cowboy caviar, where it's like beans, corn, tomatoes, black olives, onion, just a big mixture of a bunch of things that you can put on some quinoa or whatever. Huge, because you have to use a can of corn, a can of beans, a can of black olives. You have to make a large batch, but I can't eat all of it by myself. And
What?
Cody will not eat any of those things.
why do you have to make such a large? Why do you have to use the whole can? Why can't you just use?
Well, that's the thing then. Then I'd have just little pieces of things sitting around in my fridge,
Yeah,
which would be
but
fine, but then it'd go bad before I could eat it.
No, they're called baggies. Okay.
They go bad. Vegetables go bad so fast,
Not if you put them in the freezer.
especially the fresh ones.
You put them in the freezer. You let them thaw.
The
out.
lettuce, the spinach.
You could get an air concealer, conceal it and put it in the freezer. That's what my parents
Yeah, I
did.
could freeze stuff. I need to get better about it because I've just been doing that, eating a lot of vegetables.
Good.
And yeah, and just like I took some stuff over to my parents because I was like, there's no way I can eat this within the week.
You see, I just throw a bunch of vegetables together. It's kind of like a loaf. I just kind of throw it all together and just eat on
Yeah.
it throughout the week. And then maybe on a Friday or Saturday night, I'll just kind of fry it a little as a little treat. But that's most of my dinner, just broccoli and cauliflower and beans and
I actually eat a lot of frozen things.
yeah. It's
Trader Joe's kills it with their frozen foods though.
like frozen broccoli and frozen cauliflower.
Oh no, I'm talking about like frozen meals.
Whole meal.
It's not good for you. Pot stickers, orange chicken.
That's
all-
basically my lunch every single day.
Yeah.
You see, those things have a lot of sodium in them. So you got to be careful with that per their
Mhm.
size because it tastes good, but they have a ton of sodium in it. And that makes you bloated on your body too. So
Yeah.
this is stuff that I've read. There's a website I've really got into called Eat This, not that. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's really neat. I really love reading it. Let's see, I can send it in the put in the
I was
link.
about to say, I feel like I've heard of this before.
It's a nice.
Yeah, you generally, you want to eat, generally speaking, you want to eat things that are not processed. So you want things that are in their original state. And generally you want to eat vegetables. And generally you don't want to eat too much. So mostly vegetables, mostly non-processed, not too much. And that's all you have to do. So.
And that is where I fail on all three
But
fronts.
on the other hand, they had a footnote that said, if you're working on your dissertation, do not get up from that desk because you have got to defend that dissertation.
Like I said, I don't get up and drink water. I eat frozen things for lunch every day.
I guess we don't have anybody else joining. We don't really need to share any announcements today, do we?
So
Guess not.
when do you defend your dissertation, Elizabeth? When do we want to be there?
Oh, geez, that is the question of all questions.
We're gonna have
I had hoped to defend by October. And I'm not going to completely rule that out, but I have got a lot of data right now, and my job is taking over my life. So I'm gonna try, if not definitely by May. So the way that A&M has everything set up for their doctoral students as part of their processing, in order to graduate at the semester break, you have to have completed all of your defense and everything like 2 months prior to the actual graduation itself. And so if I were to graduate in December, I would have needed to defend by the beginning of October. So I'm not sure that's going to happen, but I will definitely defend in time to graduate in May.
Okay, now here's an etiquette question for the group. All right, and there's a man in Tyler who shall remain anonymous, and he is a very generous soul, very generous man, very likable in some ways, in many ways, most ways, very likable fellow. And he's in his 70s now, maybe late 60s, but I think he's hit 70. But he's done, over the years, he's done many good things for the East Texas Baptist University, given them money, things like this. And they awarded the dear man an honorary doctorate. You can see, well, not Clayton, but I mean, the rest of you can see where we're going with this, is that he insists everyone call him doctor. Introduce him as doctor, in the paper as doctor, everyone is supposed to call him doctor so-and-so. Okay. And so what do you think? A person who has an honorary doctorate, call them a doctor or not?
Absolutely not.
I really want to know what his name is.
Well, I don't know. I almost feel like that is our like American equivalent of like in the UK and like England, when people get like damed or they get
Oh, knighted.
yeah, they get like knighted and can call themselves like dame whatever. So I feel like that's the American version, is like being called doctor, whether it's like legitimate
but
or
see,
not. Like,
you can't just get named lady or sir. a knight. You can't get a knighthood just by showing up, say, hey, I'd like a knighthood. How much does it cost? You have to do it. You have to get it from the queen. And of course, there's, I'm sure, protocols for this, but it only comes from
Yeah.
one source. But
Mhm.
any college can hand out, honorary doctorates. Different deal.
I didn't know
Um,
an honorary doctorate was a thing.
A lot of celebrities get them.
Taylor
Like, I
Swift
think
just
Taylor
became a
Swift has
doctor that
one.
way.
You did?
Taylor Swift, she just got an honorary doctorate.
Barack
But-
Obama has north of 30 of them. He's got a whole.
Sure. Bob Gates has a lot of them too, and Condoleezza Rice. But I would feel
Gandhi actually has a real one.
yeah, I know, on top of her other ones, but you know what I mean. But it'd be like, to me, because I know who Wes is talking about. He's a character, but to me, it's more like, well, you should be called Dr. Voldradine, because you were, to my opinion, you worked harder for it, even because it's a Juris Doctorate program.
That's right. Yeah, I have a Jewish doctorate. So
Yeah.
you need to Dr.
I
Wolf.
think technically, and this is probably a little bit rusty now, but like when doing wedding invitations and stuff, if you look at the true honest to goodness like etiquette guideline, whoever decided that was the thing, was that the only people who get doctor on their invitations in that sense were actually medical doctors and not even PhDs.
Mhm.
So, because my sister had a friend who was insisting on being called doctor in all of her formal communications, but she's a dentist, which is kind of like a Juris Doctorate. Like it's a professional credential. It's not a actual doctor.
It's a doctor.
Well, it depends on if
They do
have
surgery.
DDS or what is
Those
it?
are specialty disciplines. They aren't necessarily MDs.
Is it DMD? Is that the other one? DO for a
Well,
dentist?
so DO is a doctor of osteopathic medicine,
Mhm.
which I'm not sure where that falls in this continuum.
Mm,
'Cause there's a whole class system
D-
within the medical.
DEOs have to go through the entire medical doctor training. They have to do all the same exact training as MDs, and they take it even further to get the DO designation. So you should absolutely address a DO as doctor formally and informally.
Oh, I agree. There's just a very classist system within the medical profession.
Yeah,
But
I don't
you
know
would-
that any MD would say not to call a DO a doctor though.
But a psychiatrist is a doctor and they go to medical school too. so-
They're MDs. They're MDs. It's psychiatrists.
Yeah, psychiatrists are MDs.
right,
A lot of them hold PhDs as well, but
right.
they're MDs.
So
I
do
would
DOs.
hope that nobody would fault me for addressing a wedding invitation without doctor, even if they did have their PhD or
I
whatever.
would really hope not.
Because if I didn't know or wasn't used to addressing them that way, I would
If it's
hope
a
that they wouldn't.
university- Yeah, a university, if a doctorate of a university would be professor, I believe it would be Professor Smith would be the appropriate title for an invitation. Of course, many PhDs that don't work for universities, so they may not have the profession.
I hate to interrupt the flow. I just wanted to pop on for a little bit and say hi. I gotta go. I am here with
Aw,
Faye. Yeah. So then on Perdido Key. I'm still in school, but my wife's family's here vacationing, so I stepped out for a moment to say hi to the meeting, but
glad you made it.
Yeah.
just want to,
Go enjoy that beach.
I'll catch up with you guys later. Yeah, it's,
Andrew.
I've been,
Shark got him.
Do we know if Dylan, switch back, do you know if Dylan got any other like comments from anyone about the points?
I was
So then she sent that-
texting with her
I didn't-
earlier and she did not mention anything specific other than what you all had discussed last time when I wasn't here.
So I emailed her probably an hour ago just because I was just thinking. And so to promote more of like our social media, if like someone tags us or tags, our Instagram or Facebook, either one, they can get like 1 point per service project. And then by the total, since we do 5, that should be a total of 5 points for the year
Like if someone posts for the service project.
and tags us. Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. Good thought.
I haven't looked over all of the points yet. I haven't had a chance, but my main thought on it is that I don't want it to get overly complicated. And even with Delane's explanation last week and how we would break down in different categories and how it would be tracked and all that, I think it's going to start getting complicated for the members to really understand and figure out, like, am I close to meeting my points? Am I like, what do I need to do? And like trying to figure out all the math of like, if I do 5 service projects and go to half the meetings, is that going to be enough? Or like, oh, I did this thing on social media, I need to make sure it gets counted or whatever. Like, I just feel like it's going to be really hard for the members to track if we have too many options with varying point values.
Yeah, I agree with that, Sarah. I think it kind of comes down. So with theater, we have this International Theater Thespian Society. And so that's kind of what we do, is like our membership is all points based. And while we do have like very specific things that you get points for, whether it's like a full length play or a 1 act, there is a like half a point, just like general place, where it's like anything else that's not specifically listed kind of falls under that half a point, if you can like provide the right documentation. And so it is kind of responsible, like, for our members to be able to like keep up with what they're doing. And I don't think that's a very hard ask to like do that, but as long as you can document and then like just email it to Delane that she can put it on like your record. That's what we have for ITS. You have your secretary who is like the main keeper of all the points, but then you have to like show and document, give them their documents of what you actually did.
I feel like, is the goal is so that we can get more interaction and get our members more involved in the club. Right? I feel like that's part of the goal.
Yeah, I'd say that was
think
part
that's
of it.
definitely-
And I think the other part was the flexibility piece too.
Yeah.
Kind of, figure out which combination works for your life and what you have to do.
Yeah.
I think maybe there's just like a general category like that, where it's like anything that helps promote or give ideas, but not like list like point values to them, and then that they would all fall under either like Emma said, either a point, or we could do a half point if it's tagging or sharing or whatnot, or
Or
Putting-
like bringing
putting an
somebody to a
ad, like-
meeting could be in that, like bringing somebody to a meeting or inviting somebody.
yeah, like an exposure type category. I don't know.
Yeah. Like any of these things fall under that category. I would like to think that our members could keep track. I want them to, at least.
Yeah, and I think they can. Like, I just pulled up the points. I'm looking at it now. Like, attend regular meetings, attend board meetings, each are 5 points. So we could even just simplify that as attend meetings. Like any club meeting, attend a club meeting becomes 5 points. So that alone makes it simpler. But then like makeup meetings, if you attend it live, it's 3 points. If you watch it later, it's 2 points. Yes, I can see that there is more value in attending another club's meeting live versus watching one of our recordings or whatever, watch another club's recording. But there's a 1 point difference there. Is it really enough to be meaningful so that I'm having to think like, okay, I attended that one live, like, okay, I had to watch that recording. Again, it's just the like having to go through and have like 15 different options on how to earn points. And now we're talking about adding additional ways. It just starts to feel very overcomplicated.
It was a suggestion. Doesn't have to be in there.
Yeah, and I'm not opposed to that at all. And maybe I'm the only person who feels that way. Maybe the onus is on everyone to add up their points and keep track of it. But if the main goal of this was to provide flexibility so that we encourage people to join the club, stay in the club, participate, and at the end of the year, we're going to come to them and say, okay, how many points do you have? And they weren't tracking it, then they've got to sit down and figure it all out and add it all up. And if it doesn't get to the total, then it's like, okay, how am I going to scramble and get enough points so I can stay in the club? And, I don't know if we're going to reach the intended goal if we have a really long list of where you get points and what those values are.
I don't know how much detail was gone into at the last meeting, but I know one of the things that Delane and I had talked about was figuring out from a tracking standpoint what makes the most sense and who's responsible for keeping up with what. So like obviously Clayton keeps track of who pays dues, Delane keeps track of who attends meetings. So there's some of that that's already being tracked automatically anyway. And so there may be opportunities to latch on to some of our existing processes. I know our service form kind of went a little defunct this last go around, but maybe that's a way to think about it too. I don't know. I'm just spitballing some ideas, but more of a track as you go.
We could put together something that's simple for members to follow when it comes to, like Delane had that sheet where I think anything in yellow or orange was something that the members would have to track, but everything else was already tracked. So we could just, I don't know, include like make a 1-pager on what they should be just keeping track of in particular that isn't tracked in any other way. And that's at the top of the page. And then maybe the meat of the page is here are all the other things where will be tracked based on your attendance, based on the service projects that you work on. That's all tracked by member based on your dues, like that's all tracked or whatever. Like we could make it more simple for them. But I also think that it is a pilot system for us. I mean, we're figuring it out. And so,
yeah, I don't think it'll be perfect this first go around. We see what we can do.
It might work really well, but we should definitely keep track of. And I'm all about those Google Sheets, guys. Like we can definitely, create a folder for the points or create a folder for feedback on it, or just have a feedback folder that has a tab for everything on whatever it is on our meetings, our speakers, our service projects, like places where we can just go in and whenever you're thinking about something like, oh, let me put that in the service notes. Like, I didn't think this worked well because, and you can input it anonymously, or, I mean, if we care about being anonymous, I don't know. I like the idea that like, I feel comfortable sharing my thoughts with you guys. So like Sarah, we should keep track of making it more simple. Like, here are the downsides to this point system, or here are things that we think might not work so well, and we should keep our eyes on that and see, especially during this like pilot, we should keep track of how that's going to go and ask our members, you know, a few months, 6 months into the year or a little bit further into the year, you know, how do you feel like that went? What ways could we make it better? I'm all about asking for feedback, especially because we're so new.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Well, I
just
think-
like the new process.
Yeah, I think I think it would be easiest to do maybe like in a quarterly thing. And I think it also falls on us as a board to really keep more in contact with our members, especially those that are falling behind, and updating them like on their status, on whether they're, you know, I mean, if you're like 5 points behind, like obviously that's something you can catch up on. If you're 50 points behind halfway through the year, then like you kind of need to step up a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that kind of falls on us as the board, whether that's the membership person or not, to keep in contact with them.
Do we still have like board partners? I feel like I remember MFA saying that one of the members was a partner for you that you could text, you know, about the meetings or remind them or just follow up with them on how they are.
It was Brittany, and she's very busy.
Do we still have those? I didn't have anybody, I don't think specifically. So I wanted to make sure if we need to redo that because we do have some new members.
Yeah, we may need to redo that since one, we
Yeah.
have some new members. We have some members that
Yeah,
left
for the new
at the
year.
end of the year, and we've got a new board, so
Mhm.
definitely need to redo it if we want to keep up with the buddy system.
Yeah. Well, I can take that on if you guys want me to assign people, or do we feel like as board members, do we want to pick someone that we already have a good contact with? Because I can just send an email and say, respond with any members that you feel like you would feel super comfortable partnering up with, or people that they live in the same town as you, or you text them often, that kind of thing. Or we can just at our next board meeting.
Y'all are the only ones I talk to. So.
Next board meeting, we can just make a list. Let's do that.
No
Yeah.
I'll
no
make a
one-
list at our next
No one
meeting.
ever talks to me. Never. They just don't.
Text me all the time. I love it. Always checking in.
Wes, I don't talk to you as much. I respect you and your work, so I don't always reach out. That's why.
It's a burden. I'm struggling.
What?
That's the excuse I'm gonna start using.
Every time I talk to Wes, he always seems super busy. Well, I do miss our coffee talks and down at the foyer. I do miss seeing you at the coffee shops, but
Yeah, yeah.
that's it.
Trivia. I go to all the coffee shops. That's how I get work done. Laptop, espresso, done. So I chatted up the guy the family that owns the building. The Brookshires own my building. It's a 19-story building downtown Tyler, and explained to them I really wanted was a room, just a work room, just a quiet place, like a WeWork or a Regis type room. And they came up with one. It's under the stairs on the 17th floor, just right down from my office. There was a restaurant, so the stairs lead from the 18th down to the 17th floor. And so I'm taking the coat room under the stairs. It's 7 feet by 14 feet. It's perfect for a Zoom room. So I've had it painted green, dark emerald green. Carpet comes in this Monday. Kind of a nice gold carpet with padding, so it'll be nice and quiet. And my assistant, she hand painted a little plaque to go on the outside. It says "Room of Requirement." Okay, in Harry Potter letters to go on the outside. It's great. So I've got it wired now, and so I can zoom to mark content. So all good. So not so much coffee anymore to hang out.
That's cool.
And unfortunately, with the shootings that occur, it's not so safe to go to a coffee shop. I'm just waiting. So it's the sad thing.
And I don't think, but you drink a lot of coffee. You're like me. I drink a lot of coffee too. So I don't think no more coffee, but just no more downstairs. You're drinking coffee right now, Sarah?
Still drinking coffee. I just love coffee. I can still go to sleep at 10 p.m. Like when I go to bed, I can still go right to sleep.
Ooh, that will change. Ooh.
It's
Yes,
probably a
it's
lot of
already
the
happened to me. I can't do it
Ooh.
I
anymore.
however, I don't drink more than and I make a very small pot or just one French press, and I'll just drink it throughout the day.
So it gets
Uh-huh.
cold. I
Yeah,
can't.
it's cold right
Oh,
now.
okay.
Still tastes good.
No, no, no.
It's wrong. It's just
A
wrong.
good cold black coffees.
It's
No.
almost-
Yummy.
What's
I
wrong
mean,
with
there's a difference between cold and iced. I can do iced.
Oh, it just pains me to hear
All
that.
good.
you? I want it strong and
Bye, Sarah. Have a
golden
good
and
night.
black. Bye, Sarah.
Better.
Bye,
You feel
friends.
better.
Thanks.
See, I want coffee hot, scalding, burns your tongue, like tar. That's how you have to have it.
It always starts off hot. But in the summertime, it's hot.
No, I don't think so.
It's
like
hot
it.
here.
Yeah, it's hot here too, but my apartment's on 77 right now and it's comfortable and I'm comfortable. And I'll drink coffee and I'll be fine. So,
I need to get me a new little pour over contraption for a single cup because we bought a rooftop tent and we're taking like a 10-day road trip to Colorado. And we have a French press and we have like a camping French press, but it always gets so many of the beans in the coffee. And I recently saw these little disposable pour overs. Is that a little French press? Oh, is it a percolator?
This is Italian made. These were
Oh.
invented after
Yeah.
World
But
War
that's too expensive for me.
no.
Italian made.
No, you get them at Target.
Is that an antique?
No. I use it all the time. What do you mean? I mean, yeah, I'm offended. Just
It looks
because-
like one. That's why I said that.
So you put your water in here, and you put your where's the container? Oops, we're missing a piece of it. Okay, I've got to talk to somebody. But yeah, there's another piece. You put your coffee in the little thing here, screen.
filter.
Then you put it on the fire or a hot plate.
Yeah.
You've got espresso. So
Is it I just like Amazon search a percolator? That's what that is?
this is a let me see what the name of it is. It's a certain type of brand. It's very common.
Oh, MFA has one.
Nice. Wow, you guys are killing it. I'm gonna have to find me one of those. That does look really easy.
What's the name of it, MFA? What's it called?
Pedrini.
Pedrini. That's it. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
cool.
Your Italian design.
Put that in my web really quick
Yeah.
so I remember.
Like $9, $8 or $9 at Target.
I just have a Mr. Coffee pot, just a drip coffee. It works fine for me.
My
Like
husband,
Got the
Uh,
Nespresso machine at home and the Keurig at the office.
I don't do Keurig. I read about them. They're not good for the environment, and I don't like the coffee. And they're always dirty. You can't clean them. So, I'm sorry, Sarah. I think I cut you off.
No, this is good.
Oh,
This is perfect.
I'll show you what I got. Okay, we're just chatting among friends here. I'll show you what I got for
Yeah.
Father's Day here. They got me where it hurts. This is that little espresso maker. You see, so
Oh, wait, is it like you grind your own beans? It's not like a pods?
oh, I could if I wanted to, but this has pods. I like the pods because it's always consistent. But yeah, we have them.
Yeah.
We could grind them up if we wanted to.
That's nice, Wes. That's on my list, except the espresso machines that I want are too expensive.
yeah, my husband went through like this whole trying different ways of making coffee. So we have that, we have a French press, we have some other stuff. We had to pour over at one point in time, but now we just do instant.
Instant coffee.
Mhm.
I used to drink that with my dad growing up. I've gotten too used to the taste of like the good locally roasted beans where they're so fresh. Like
Oh man.
I'm a little coffee snob over here.
You see, I feel like I feel like when you buy instant coffee, it just comes with a pack of cigarettes. You know, it just kind of goes with the thing. So it's just that everybody I know who drinks instant coffee also smokes like a chimney. I mean, I don't know what it probably for me from East Texas, but
Probably
Yeah.
because we don't.
it's no, I'm not saying you do, but this is what I think of. It's like instant coffee and a cigarette in the morning. I don't know.
But it's so easy. Like you were saying,
Yeah.
like cleaning, it's so easy to clean. We
This
just
is
have an
why-
electric kettle.
This is why we have DEI training, Clayton.
No.
Conclusion. We're not going to discriminate against someone who drinks instant coffee. We're an
No.
inclusive club.
I
No.
also, I also make Dalgona coffee too, which is you whip up instant coffee with sugar and you just pour it over milk.
Mm. Wait, is it good? What brand of instant coffee do you guys get?
It depends. Trader Joe's, HEB, Folgers.
One of these things is not like the others.
Yep. Depends on the budget as well.
hmm You know, Folgers isn't bad. Like my parents drink Folgers and I'll have a cup. It tastes fine. I mean, it's what it is, you know, from a normal pot. But HEB does have a good coffee selection. They have a good everything, really.
They do.
Hey, switching gears just a little bit, although I could talk about coffee all day long. I got to line up speakers. That's my new job. What are the
Woo,
topics?
woo.
Woohoo. What are the topics that are of interest to you? To any of it? I mean, pick a range. What topics would be appealing to you, or people you'd like to invite?
I really liked whenever we have speakers that could teach us something. Like I enjoyed learning.
I really like learning about nonprofits that I had no idea that were there and doing good work.
Mhm.
Yeah, and to kind of piggyback on what Sarah said too, like people speaking from fields that I just don't have any conceptualization of, you know, kind of like how is it made kind of things that
Yeah.
just are so far outside my realm of normal day to day.
Yeah, I like things like that. Or, you know, nonprofits working for, you know, get literacy to children type of thing, you know, things like that. I like.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
the literacy program was really cool. And they actually reached out to us for that.
Oh, really? Did they?
Yeah. Yeah.
I also like international things, learning about, you know, countries or, you know, what it's like in the country, kind of the Guatemala type of thing. You know, you really don't know what it's like until somebody really talks about it.
Yeah. Like we had that
The
Uh,
Mediterranean and that one. That
we
was
had the Marine one
Mhm.
about like talking about all the maritime laws. That was really cool. I liked that.
Was that Aaron?
Erin, yeah.
You can also invite a lobbyist. I think that would be interesting, you know, if it's something not controversial, but
I have a friend that's a
Oh, that
lobbyist. Well, not anymore, but she was on the beef lobby.
Mhm. You see, that's not as controversial. It's, you know, don't have somebody that's like
Yeah.
a bullshit or something. Yes, you know, let's, you know, it's something non-controversial lobby. Sounds interesting to
Yeah,
me.
but it
Yeah.
goes against your vegetarian. But I can reach out to my friend. She's one of my best friends, but she still lives in DC and she married like an assistant to a senator. He's not anymore, but neither one of them have the same jobs, but she was on the beef lobby for a long time. Super passionate about agriculture, like grew up on a cattle ranch kind of thing. I'm sure she could talk about something like that. And then I have talked to her husband about coming to a meeting, but I never made it happen. He's now a government, I can't think of his title, government consultant for Siemens, which has their hands on a lot of different things. But he said he could also come and talk about what it was like working for a senator or any of the types of issues that they worked through.
Nice. Do you know what senator he works for?
I don't remember. Somebody in Pennsylvania, I think.
Well, you could talk with them and say, but what would be of interest is, we all know how the budgets and pass and the routine stuff. What we want to know, what I would want to know is, how's it really done? You know,
Yeah.
what are the, how important are relationships? How are things actually accomplished? And what's an example of someone who can't be effective?
Yes. Let me take a note of that.
You know,
I'll ask him.
I mean, we all know that there are congressmen. We have one in Tyler, Louis Gohmert, who's he's rated as one of the least effective members of Congress. He's a blowhard, and they call him Crazy Louis for a reason. But but nonetheless, he's, you know, there are other people who are quieter who get things done. You know, what is the difference?
Yeah. See if we can get Marjorie Taylor Greene on the line.
You're in charge. Mhm.
Okay.
Well, okay, so if I look for some speakers who can teach us something new, you walk away, you've learned something, that's a plus.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Something that's international, a plus. Something that is entrepreneurial, would that be of interest? Something that's new, something that's being developed that's new. I'm hesitant about, I don't like to invite people who are asking for money. I don't mind new ideas, you know, new projects. Okay, I'm all for it. But when their nonprofits love to come to groups like Rotary because
Yeah.
I don't like to be a venue for asking for money, because that's what we do. We ask for money. We're looking for different things. Other ideas? Business? Is it business? Is that of interest? Business?
Yeah. The business stuff, you know, the market is really fascinating, and the economy to me, but you know, I do this every day too. The economy and the stock market and stuff, you know, people don't realize, and how inflation works, and just how they like to talk about the economy now would be fascinating to me.
Are there
Yeah,
topics?
I'd be interested in seeing somebody talk about the finances and the process and the overall view of how real estate works and how the prices of homes are going up and down, and why it affects our economy and that kind of thing.
All right.
Yeah.
You know, one of my closest friends is a real estate agent, and she's been selling real estate for decades here in Tyler, and she knows it cold. She is really good. She could talk about really the subtle aspects of buying and selling homes and what real estate agents have to deal with.
Like, what are the biggest problems in the housing market?
Sure. Yeah.
Like how to easily, I'm trying to buy a house. How
Give us all
easy
the
is it
secrets.
to get a loan, and what are the secrets to getting a good loan and getting a good interest rate wherever you're going on any kind of loan, honestly.
I'll talk with it. Very good. She would like that.
Yeah. Also, how to get an honorary doctorate might be fascinating.
Yeah. That guy.
I don't know if any of us make enough money for that.
You want it? We got it. Rotary Leaders
Guy
of
was.
Leaders of Service Rotary Doctorate. We could crank up some certificates. I'm sure this guy would use them. Are there topics that I should avoid? Like we have certain hot button issues, political issues, social issues. Should these be avoided? Should we embrace
Well,
them?
I think we did it really well with having the NAACP president coming to speak, because he really just spoke on the issues that they go through and the problems that they see and what they've done and where they've come from. So I feel like if it's a situation like that where you can invite somebody that's from an organization and talk about where they were 20, 30 years ago and what they've done to get where they are now, or the changes that they were able to make. I think that you can do a lot of things as long as you're just making sure to ask the speaker, we want to make sure we stay out of
Value judgments associated with beliefs.
yeah.
Yeah, well, see,
Yeah.
the NAACP is all about value judgments associated with beliefs. That's what it does. It's, if you study the history, it was fighting for the survival, the lives of African Americans. So it was anything but cordial. It had to be combative.
Mhm.
So can't always shy away from that with an organization like NAACP or one of the other organizations.
Well,
that-
he did a good job, I thought.
Yeah, he did. He's a fabulous guy. Okay, so
The most pressing thing that comes to mind kind of along those same lines, like, I mean, I think it would be fascinating to hear from somebody from an organization like Planned Parenthood right now. I don't know if all of our members would necessarily agree with that perspective, but I mean, that's, I think, probably the most, that's the biggest example that I'm coming up with in terms of like controversial things that may or may not be a good idea.
Well, I think again, I mean, it really just focuses when you ask, like, focus their conversation like on a specific thing, like just what are they dealing with? I mean, and I don't think there has to be anything politically motivated behind that, because it's just, I mean, it's a place. I mean, it's something in your communities that is there. And some of it's whether you like it or not, like it is an organization that's there. But I mean, instead of like thinking like this is how, I believe as a person, not just I believe as Planned Parenthood.
I think religion comes to mind. Like, I'm a Christian, but I think it'd be interesting to learn about, Hindu and Muslim and Islamic. But they can teach us without trying to convert us. You know what I mean? It's the same politically. They just teach us without being.
Well, that's on tap. Believe me, that's on
Yeah.
tap. We're going to have a speaker who's going to talk about Islam, and she will do a wonderful job. Or he, God, we have two candidates.
That's awesome.
They have spoken. This was great. I had a friend of mine here in Tyler. If you're from Tyler, he's very well known and home builder. And he's not a trained minister of Islam. He's layman, but he is willing, and he has stood up in a room full of Rotarians and talked about Islam and taken the hard questions that the evangelicals fire at him. He's done a great job.
Yeah,
fact-
like getting somebody to just talk about the history of their religion. What are the main basic points, and I
Yeah.
think that kind of stuff's like that's like a learning.
Yeah.
That's like, I would say
It's
that's me
enrichment.
learning about something that I wasn't educated on.
Mhm.
Yeah, when I introduced my friend, I did a true false test to my Rotarians when I introduced them. Okay, true or false? Islam and Christianity worship the same God, and you could see everybody take a deep breath and think.
It's fun to go.
Okay. Some said no, so some said yes.
Depends on who you ask, right? It's everyone's separate belief.
So, okay, I'll work on these things. Okay, I'll see what I can do.
But just for fun, I wouldn't mind hearing somebody completely radical and just outrageous about something, even though it's not serious.
There is,
Oh,
I think there is, with just Rotary in general, I think that we should try to do our best to keeping the club, and even a equal platform for all. And so we don't want to make anyone feel alienated, or, I think that's why I think we do need to be careful about political beliefs being too, not that we can't share our thoughts and our feelings with each other, but I think that we just need to be careful about how we're coming across as a club, especially if one day we want to be a 501c. I feel like there are some requirements, and I think that you can't have any political affiliation.
it just takes a good one. No big deal. Just a good one, we can get that finished.
But I would say, just for our members, I think that we have people on both sides of any political party, and I think that we want to make sure that everyone feels comfortable coming to meetings and that they enjoy our meetings. And so I think that's one reason we just want to be careful if we're going to bring, a topic up during a meeting, we want to make sure that we facilitate that discussion.
Mhm. Very hardcore.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I'll steer away from, I don't mind someone talking about, like Planned Parenthood, talking about, okay, this is the circumstances, this is what the changes we've made, this is the issues we're having to deal with. Okay. I mean, we could balance it out with someone from a Christian Crisis Pregnancy Center, okay, fine.
Mhm.
But now there are limits. There are some nuts out there. There's some real nut cases. We're not having somebody from QAnon or JFK. One of my Rotary clubs here in Tyler had a JFK conspiracy come and speak. And I said, "Are you kidding?"
Well, conspiracy issues are pretty cool. I mean, it's kind of like the same true crime.
Let's-
Like,
Flat Earther in here. I want to hear their theories.
all right, it's
Super networking meeting.
right. Okay, it's a little after 7. I just want to kind of touch on. So we don't have a meeting next week, but the week after, we have I just looked at it.
It's Joe Rita
Rotary
Solari.
International. Rotary International, and then we have a board meeting, and then Foundation Month. Do we have anything for August 2nd yet?
I
Or is that-
spoke with Greg and he said probably August, I think it's the 16th.
Yeah, I was about to mention that
But
too.
it's the other month. But yeah, he's going to reach out to our district lead for the Rotary Foundation and see if, I think his name is Tom, I forget his last name, to see if he will join us for a meeting in August. And honestly, it just depends on his availability, I guess. But
August 16th is our Carolyn Franks will be here.
oh,
that day.
perfect.
So
That's our district governor now, right?
mhm.
Okay, I'll let Greg know. All right, so that leaves just that one meeting for foundation. I'll let Greg know if he wants to share anything else. We can follow up in September since Carolyn's coming.
And she will, since I mean half of the board's here pretty much. We will meet an hour before that day to meet with her as the board on the
Okay.
16th.
The 16th. So we'll meet at what time? 5?
5. Mhm.
In July,
August.
August. 16th.
Yeah, August 16th. We'll meet at 5 as the board with Carolyn, and then we'll go into our meeting.
Okay, I'll try to make it work. I can only do one or the other one. So I'll drop on the first one with the meeting, but
Cool.
it's the case. That's the first week of school, so I'll
Oh,
pencil
yeah.
an hour. But I don't want to overcommit.
Yeah, no, for sure. Do what you must.
Thank you.
Yeah, that'll be the day before I start school with kids. So
You start on a Wednesday?
And
That's weird.
yeah, tell me about it. We never do anything normal. All right,
Yeah.
anything else before we wrap up? All right. Well, I don't have it pulled up. I meant to do that earlier. Of our
before we
4-way
talk
test.
about the 4-way test, I've got that baby memorized, and I feel like you guys do
Really
too.
good about the 6 of us.
Let's try it. Let's try it without it in front of us.
Last time we said the same thing twice and none of us realized it till the end. All right. First, is it the
Is it the truth?
Is it the truth?
second? Is it
Well,
Is it fair
Fair
to
to
all
Fair to all
concerned.
concerned.
concerned?
3?
Will it build
goodwill and
goodwill and better friendships?
And 4th,
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
yay.
Man, I
Yes.
stumbled on that second one.
Wait, what was, we said it twice again. I said it twice, I think. What was the
So
second
the
one?
so the second one is fair and the 4th one is beneficial.
Yeah.
Fair and beneficial.
Yeah, so it's like fair to all concerned and beneficial to all concerned is what it's
Okay, fair and beneficial. Okay.
Good job, guys.
Yeah. Good job.
High fives all around.
Great week, y'all.
Y'all too.
Thanks,
Bye.
Cynthia.
Good luck.
Bye.
Bye.